In my shop today, I have this trailer to get out. It just needs wheels put on. I have this tractor here to put a 3-point hitch on, but that's going to be later in the project. First, I'm going to get this skid loader out of here. It has a new quick attach to put on the front of it. Back here, I have my my press brake that my grandpa built. It's 80 inches. It'll do an 80-inch shear, about almost a 10 gauge. Here's a rack with all my steel in it. This is a bucket for a customer. It's a tractor bucket. It's 7 feet wide, I think. So I got to weld, or 8 foot wide. I got to weld this bucket edge on it, rebuild that. These are some bullshit things that I need to get out of my shop. They don't belong here. That's junk. These are test weights, but mostly junk. This is my 200-ton press brake. It is 8 foot long, and I've got controls to put on it so that I can have more repeatability on it, but it's a project in the works. This is my H-frame press that my grandpa built. It's a 3-foot press, and it does better than most, but it's still just a homemade job. There's my rack of press brake tooling for bending. This is my Polmax project. It's Polmax. This will make it. It was originally a nibbler, and I want to convert it into a shaper, stretcher shrinker. And down here is a little robotic crane thing. That's a magnetic base. That's what I would use to do a weld or a cut on a long straight seam, and I've got an extension track for that. I got a lathe back here that I've never hooked up, never ran it. I'll get to that. So this is an iron worker that my grandpa built. It's for cutting, shearing smaller pieces, knocking holes, making a corner notch here. I've got a Adaphase back there I can put in my shop. I can have 3-phase 240 or 3-phase 200 volt. I've got here's two drill presses that I've never used, and a not so little what's this one called again? It's the Ekstrom Carlson Toolmakers milling machine. I've got an air compressor. I put that together from its component parts. Bought a motor, bought a compressor, bought an air tank, bought a dryer. That's a 10 horsepower compressor. That should be able to feed it could do two sandblasters at the same time, or a sandblaster and a paint booth at the same time. It's big enough for that. Here is a milling machine that was my grandpa's, the Rong Fu. That was the first milling machine, and that's done a lot of work, but it's pretty well clapped out. Then on this table here that's 10 foot long, I've got this gang of Clausen drill presses that I've never used, any of them. I bought it for the table. Paid $1,500. The table itself weighs 1,900 pounds. It's a nice table. It's got a gutter all the way around. This drill press is one that was my grandpa's primary drill press, really. Over here, I've got my toolbox, my bolt bin, my screws and bolts. Here is my $500 CNC 1986 what's it called? An MV Junior. Anyways, it ran when it was parked outside, and then I bought it for $500 and I put it here, and I thought I was going to make that go, and I didn't do that yet, but it got me looking at other milling machines I could buy. Another toolbox. So I bought this Chevalier. It's like a Bridgeport knee mill. This one I've used, done a couple jobs with that. This is a radial arm drill. So it's nice for just making holes. Here is my bandsaw that my grandpa built. Rack of steel, rack of short cutoffs. This thing with the white handle on it, that's a pipe, or that's a roller for rolling circles. Here's my welding bench full of crap. Just get it out of here. Get the jobs done. Here's for that skid loader. I'm going to put this attachment on the front of that skid loader. I've got the pieces cut, or pieces drawn, but the plasma cutter's not cutting at the moment. I'll get that done. So I've got this yellow pallet stacker, little portable forklift in the shop here, and then this green one. This one's propane. There's not hardly room to drive it right now. Welder, plasma cutter. This one here is the piece de resistance, the VMC 1400. It's a milling machine that it's 10 or 11 feet tall. The footprint is 14 by 12 or something like that. The work piece it could have is as big as a kitchen table, 55 by 30 by 30, something like that, or 26 by 30 or something. Anyways, it's got a big table on it. Here's my plasma cutting scraps. They're at least arranged by thickness. That is my dust collector that I haven't installed yet. Got to wire that up so that when the plasma cutter's on, I've got a downdraft table out of the plasma cutter for the CNC plasma table. This is a 1996 controller on here, a Quickie Hybrid D11 made by PicoPath and Linatrol, and the buttons are difficult to use because when they're cold especially, and the control circuit in the back there doesn't always get the signal over to the plasma power source here on the floor. And then I also have this, it came originally with this HD 3070 from Hypertherm, 100 amp high precision plasma. That one started giving me fits. It was probably a gas control issue, but the chopper wasn't turning on. And so I got this unit here, which was a replacement, a 200 amp Hypertherm. It uses the same power source as the high precision one, but it had two of them in there. So I bought that so I'd have two power sources as spares to make this one work. It didn't work. It's just 1,000 things. All right, here's a better look at my shear that my grandpa built. I don't use the shear very much, almost at all. It's almost better to just do everything on the plasma table. But my grandpa built it, so I probably won't ever get rid of it because it still has some uses. And it's big, but I've got piles of boxes that I could get rid of before I'd ever get rid of that thing. All right, so there's a tour of my shop.